European art music has a long and rich history of cultural expression in the visual arts. Many painters, sculptors, and other artists have been inspired by the music they have heard, and they have hoped to depict the manifestation and essence of music and musical culture in their work. This video focuses in a preliminary way on examining the expression of European art music in the visual arts of the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, especially in painting. But before that, let's look at a few examples of the cultural expression of European art music in the visual arts a little closer to our own time. One of the best-known examples of the expression of European art music in visual art are the works The Music Lesson and Concert, by the well-known Dutch painter Johannes Vermeer, who painted intimate everyday scenes in which he depicts people playing instruments, and in such a way that the music itself is often hinted at by the expressions on their faces and the characters in the picture layout. The French painter Edouard Manet was greatly influenced by the music of his time, especially Richard Wagner's operas. His painting Music in the Tuileries depicts a group of people enjoying a concert in a Parisian garden. The colors and composition of the painting are perhaps meant to evoke the emotional and sensory experience of hearing music. Other artists who were influenced by music include Wossi Kandinsky, who was more about how music can evoke emotions without images, and Paul Klee, who used musical notes and other elements of music in his abstract works. Moritz von Schwind was a 19th century Austrian painter and draftsman. The Cat Symphony, one of his best-known hand drawings, is a humorous depiction of a melody for violins in which, instead of notes, numerous cats move across the paper. The composition can be interpreted as a caricaturing dig at Richard Wagner's music, which the artist did not appreciate very much. Schwind gave the sheet to one of his friends, the violinist Joseph Joachim. The reason for the gift was Joachim's appointment as director of the Berlin Academy of Music. In addition to painting, music has been a source of inspiration for many sculptors, from ancient Greece to our days. Overall, the cultural expression of European art music in the visual arts is a rich and varied tradition that has inspired many artists and even some of the greatest artists of all time. Next, this video focuses in a preliminary way on examining the expression of European art music in the visual arts of the Middle Ages and after that of the Renaissance, especially in painting. These miniatures are from a frontispiece of a 12th century manuscript copy of Boethius's De Institutione Musica. Boethius introduced the threefold philosophical classification of music. In musica mundana, meaning music of the universe or the spheres or the world, music is an all-pervading force, and musica humana, meaning harmony of human body and spiritual harmony, music is a principle of unifying the body and soul of man as well the parts of his body, and in musica instrumentalis, meaning instrumental music, music is found in certain instruments, especially in the monochord. During the Middle Ages in Europe, art music was primarily expressed through vocal and instrumental compositions, but it also had a visual aspect that was expressed through the art of illuminated manuscripts and iconography. One of the most significant examples of this is the illuminated manuscripts of the medieval period, which were intricately decorated with images and designs that reflected the themes and emotions of the music being performed. These manuscripts were often created by skilled artists who used vibrant colors and intricate designs to enhance the visual appeal of the music. One of the most famous of these are the Cantigas de Santa Maria, which are illuminated music notation manuscripts written in Galician Portuguese and have been made during the reign of Alfonso X el Sabio. They are one of the largest collections of monophonic songs from the Middle Ages. Another famous example is the Codex Manesse, also known as the Great Heidelberg Book of Songs. This was created between around 1300 and around 1340 in Zurich. It is the most comprehensive collection of ballads and epigrammatic poetry in Middle High German language. Codex Manesse from Heidelberg has miniatures of many Minnesang poets of the period. A miniature portrait of Hildebold von Schwangau depicts him in a trio dance with two ladies, one in each hand, with a fiddler providing the music. In addition to illuminated manuscripts, the visual arts of the Middle Ages also included religious paintings and sculptures that depicted scenes from biblical stories and the lives of saints. These works of art often featured musical instruments and musicians as a way to represent the importance of music in the religious ceremonies and rituals of the time. Another example of the expression of art music in the visual arts of the Middle Ages is the use of musical notation in artwork. Some manuscripts contained musical notation written into the illustrations, which served as a visual representation of the music being performed. Overall, the European cultural expression of art music in the visual arts of the Middle Ages was an important aspect of the artistic and religious culture of the time. It allowed musicians and artists to collaborate and create works that were both visually and musically stunning, and it served as a powerful tool for expressing the deep emotions and spiritual themes of the music. During the Renaissance, art music was an important aspect of European cultural expression, and it often played a role in the visual arts of the period. The visual arts of the Renaissance, including painting, sculpture, and architecture, were often commissioned by wealthy patrons, such as the church or aristocracy, who sought to display their wealth and power through the creation of elaborate works of art. In many cases, music was incorporated into these works of art, either as a subject matter or as a means of enhancing the overall effect of the artwork. For example, in paintings and frescoes, musicians were often depicted playing instruments or singing, either as part of a larger scene or as a standalone portrait. These depictions often served to highlight the importance of music in the lives of the wealthy patrons who commissioned the artwork. In addition to these direct representations of music, the visual arts of the Renaissance often employed musical motifs and symbols to convey certain ideas or emotions. For example, musical notation was sometimes used as a decorative element in architectural design, and musical instruments were often included in still life paintings as a symbol of luxury and refinement. Overall, the cultural expression of art music played an important role in the visual arts of the Renaissance, both as a subject matter and as a means of enhancing the overall effect of the artwork. By incorporating music into their artistic creations, Renaissance artists were able to showcase the importance of this art form to European culture and society. The cultural expression of European art music underwent significant changes in visual arts between the Middle Ages and the Renaissance. In the Middle Ages, the art was primarily focused on religious themes and was created to serve the Christian Church. This art was characterized by flat, two-dimensional figures with little attention given to realism or depth. During the Renaissance, there was a renewed interest in classical art and culture, and this had a significant impact on visual arts. Artists began to explore the human form in greater depth, seeking to create realistic and lifelike representations of the human body. This resulted in a greater emphasis on three-dimensional form and perspective, and artists began to experiment with techniques such as chiaroscuro and sfumato to create a sense of depth and realism in their works.